Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 5th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Today was definitely interesting. I don't know about you, but I had some Facebook login issues that were not so fun. And I know what you're thinking, probably, average listener. What? You're still on Facebook? What the hell? Or like, what? What do you mean? Like, I didn't even notice that. I was asleep. I was at work or whatever. Well, you know what? Facebook is just a part of my bit. Okay, I just like doing it. I'm on it a lot. Like I said, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm an online person. So yeah, I was a little miffed about it in a way, only because the outage wasn't very long, but for me, I wound up like overdoing it or something. I wound up getting locked out of my account more or less, TDLR, and so that was a bit of a thing. I had to kind of wait to get home to like work out the issue, but I mean, I'm all good now. It's all good. I'm back online, baby. But it was definitely a little interesting little side pre-news for you that I know we kind of all maybe went through because it was a worldwide outage. But Daddy Zuck fixed it, so we're all good now. But let's see here. Food corner for me was a Mexican beef and rice bowl that I made. It was very yummy. Had some chips. I also fried up some tortillas, and that was good. That was a nice little experience that I hadn't. I mean, I've done it since I've been like frying all these burritos and whatnot, but that's the first time trying to do that, and it was definitely worth it. Definitely gonna do it again, but I feel like I gotta be careful, I don't want to get too fat about this. I gotta stop frying this, that, and the third. But yeah, that's enough about me. Let's go ahead and get into some news. Yeah, let me go ahead and do my startup, and then we'll do that. Oh yeah. All right. Let's start here. Okay. From CBS News. 5 killed in small plane crash off Nashville interstate. 5 people aboard a single engine plane died Monday night when it crashed near an interstate highway in Nashville, Tennessee, authorities said. The pilot made an emergency call to John C. Toon Airport around 7:40 p.m., reported engine trouble, and was cleared to make an emergency landing. Metro Nashville Police Department spokesman Don Aaron said. A short time later, the pilot radioed that the aircraft wouldn't reach the airport, he said. My engine shut down, the pilot said initially in a radio communication with air traffic control. Also, they say that the audio is available at liveatc.net if you wanted to hear it. And I emphasize that just because you really hear in this recording that the pilot is trying to do the best that they can to make sure that like they're trying to do the best they can to land the plane safely, as I'm trying to say here. Like it's very harrowing, the situation. It's very traumatic, and like you can hear it's like they understand. It's like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it to the um the actual runway, and essentially they wind up landing it on the side of the interstate in like a median, and I'll go ahead. I wanted to actually kind of get a little bit of the perspective from the people or from the person. Are you trying to, or yeah, are you trying to land the plane at Johnson? Asked someone at the control center. The pilot repeated that his plane engine has shut off and says, I'm going to be, I don't know where. Air traffic control advised the pilot to declare an emergency and ask if he can see the airport runway. Yes, I have the runway in sight, the pilot replied. But later he said, I'm too far away, won't make it. So inevitably, the plane winds up crashing on a grassy median just off of Interstate 40 and behind a Costco on the city's west side. The crash scene was about 3 miles south of the General Aviation Airport. Now, I will say that this is like I said, the super heroic part here is like outside of the five that died on the plane, like there was no vehicles, no buildings, no civilians were injured. No one was hurt, and I think that was all off of the pilot just trying to do the best they could in a very just devastating situation. So I feel like that was definitely worth mentioning and talking about this situation. So yeah, I wanted to go ahead from there and move on to, I guess you can say, the tech world. A little bit of ransomware shit update from Tech Radar. Black Cat ransomware gang shuts down servers after multi-million-dollar United Health payout. But is this really the end? Let's see here. So yeah, this is a bit of an update from the ransomware hack I believe we covered last week. The notorious Black Hat ransomware operator, also known as AlphaV, has apparently shut down its entire infrastructure, including servers and websites. The circumstances leading up to the decision are unclear, but some things point to a possible exit scam. Over the weekend, the group shut down its negotiation sites and posted a message on the Tox messaging platform reading, "Everything is off, we decide." Later during the day, the group changed the message to GG, short for good game. Gamers usually type GG when they concede and decide to quit the game. Let's see here. While the group gave no explanation for a sudden termination of its affiliates, or one of its affiliates claimed to know what happened. Picked up by cybersecurity researchers Record Future, a message was posted by someone claiming to be a longtime Black Cat affiliate, who were also responsible for the attack on Change Healthcare. The attack, which was reported in late February this year, forced some of Change Healthcare's services offline, and even affected local pharmacies. The company merged with Optum 2 years ago in a $7.8 billion deal following the ransomware attack. The affiliate criminals claim Optum paid $22 million in Bitcoin, roughly 350 BTC, for sensitive data not to be released online and for the group to provide the decryption key. But that's when AlphaV apparently decided to pull the plug. Operators work a ransomware as a service, or RAS model, where the affiliates get a cut of the ransom payment, but so do the operators. Apparently, there is no honor amongst thieves, and AlphaV decided to take the entire prize for itself. At least that's stated from what we know, what's been gathered from this article. So definitely a big development. It's definitely frowned upon, though, to do this, says law enforcement, because essentially you don't know if they're actually going to abide by their end of the deal and you're going to, get your services back online, or they're not going to give out your information or what have you. You just don't know. So, that being said, it looks like, Black Cat, AlphaV is back. Yeah, big way. Despite, the kibosh that was put on them, in last year. So, I felt like that was relevant to cover that. I know I kind of came to it late, but I didn't know about it until like last week. And I was like, oh shit, this is like already a 2-week-old story technically. But yeah, there we are. So let's go ahead and move on from Bitcoin to Bitcoin. Actually, this is also another tech related thing here. From Yahoo Finance. Bitcoin hits new all-time high near $69,000. I'm just reading this all backwards. Bitcoin hits new all-time high near $69,000 before tumbling. Nice. I think I was just so caught up on that. Bitcoin reached an all-time high Tuesday before falling back as some investors locked in their winnings. A new frenzy surrounding the world's largest cryptocurrency pushed the price to $68,869, exceeding the previous high of $68,789 established on November 10th of 2021. Then it tumbled below the 60,000 level again in a matter of hours. The new high reinforced a remarkable comeback for Bitcoin following a 2022 crash that created huge losses for investors and triggered the downfall of several big industry players, including cryptocurrency exchange FTX and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. The dramatic retreat from Tuesday's high offered a reminder of how much volatility still surrounds this digital asset. At one point, it was down 11%, the sort of drop last seen during the tumult of 2022. But I will say, when I looked at this in a graph, and actually, before I get to the graph, I wanted to mention this. It's not side news, but it's news I didn't know until I read this article. The demand for trading on Coinbase was so intense last week that it resulted in a snafu, love when you get to use the word snafu, where some customers showed $0 balances in their accounts for part of one day. CEO Brian Armstrong offered assurances to customers that their funds were safe. Some individual customers reported seeing zero balances in their accounts again on Monday. So I would not feel safe after that. But yeah, I actually used to fuck with Coinbase a little bit. I actually did a little bit of the crypto, not much. Luckily, not enough to get scammed, but I was dumb enough to throw some money into like Dogecoin and then sit in enough to net neutral, pull my money back out and go, what the fuck am I doing? And I just was done. But apparently, ETFs, kind of things like Ethereum, Litecoin, or whatever the fuck, even the meme coins or whatever. But some coins have been getting traded and invested in more, even by governments. So that's kind of been affecting the whole supply and demand. Also, there's halving, which is a whole process that I'm not going to attempt to explain because I am not an economics person or whatever. Obviously, don't take any advice from me on this kind of shit, or maybe any shit. Let's see here. But all these kind of things and more are playing a factor into Bitcoin. But that leads me into what I was going to say before the Coinbase part, is that when you look at this shit on a graph and you look at it over time, the all-time high thing is real. Like this is a relevant moment for Bitcoin, even though it might not feel like it. But that's because it's like Bitcoin always has equaled a lot, even in its dip. And so it making a spike like this and getting to a new height, even though it crashes, it's big news. That being said, I wouldn't personally say, oh yeah, now it's time for me to get into Bitcoin. No, I'm cool. That shit sailed for me. If anything, you had to have gotten lucky with this shit saying, oh, I'm going to invest in this shit when it's a joke. Like when it's not a thing at all. It doesn't make any sense to me, but sure, why not? I'll throw some money into this and then it blossoms into something real. I've heard fun, crazy stories of people being like, yeah, I got Bitcoin for coming into college or just hanging out in college doing X or Y thing. And I completely lost the account because I didn't even care about it. And it's that shit's worth thousands of dollars. And it's damn, dude, that sucks. But yeah, I've heard people tipping their pizza guys, in Bitcoin, and now their pizza guy has fucking money, fucking real ass dough. So hopefully they do. Hopefully they didn't squander that themselves. I don't know. But yeah, I figure this is interesting. Do I think Bitcoin's a real thing? I think it's always going to be yes and no. I think Bitcoin's always going to exist in the sense of you can always buy drugs or sadly people with it. So yeah, it's always going to have a purpose, but then there's always going to want people that they wanted to legitimize it. They don't want it to just be this dark currency. And it's okay, so you're going to try to regulate it and you want to try to say, hey, I want to get a latte, or I want to get pizza with this. And it's well, that's going to make it have to be regulated. And how do you square the whole drugs and the, people thing? How do you make that work? And that's constantly, the juxtaposition, right? So I don't know. We'll see if this ever actually becomes a reality. We get off of fiat currency or whatever, and we're living in a Bitcoin world. I personally doubt it, and if I don't think it's going to be in my lifetime if it does happen. But yeah, time will tell. I can always be disappointed or surprised, I should say. Shit, I'll use whatever money needs to be used. I don't really give a shit. And technically, if it was easy, like I don't like using dollars. Do you personally? I don't. There's certain times though where it does feel nice to have a tangible thing, but I know it would just be so much easier if I could just like beam money around, which you technically can do, nowadays with your phone or what have you. But like, not every place allows you to do that. I think once that happens, I'll be satisfied. I don't have to actually whip out my money. I can just be at this like random ass gas station and I know I can bump my phone and pay you, which, like I said, you more or less can do. Average situation, but maybe not. So, yeah, anyway, I'm in the weeds. Let me go ahead and take my last break and then we'll do our last story for the day. Ooh. Okay. From the Associated Press, Independent Senator Kirsten Sinema of Arizona says she won't seek re-election, avoiding a three-way race. Independent Senator Kirsten Sinema of Arizona announced on Tuesday that she won't run for a second term after her estrangement from the Democratic Party left her politically homeless and without a clear path to re-election. I mean, to that I say fucking good riddance. So long to the Prada socialist, as she liked to be called. I didn't know that until I read this article. I was like, oh wow, that's so fitting. So fucking fitting. Um, yeah, I mean, we really did get a nice little bundle. What is it? Glitch McConnell. He's gonna be out as leader, so that's gonna be an interesting shift. And then Kirsten Sinema just realizes, yeah, the writing's on the wall. And personally, I don't even think this is a surprise to her. Let me read a little bit more before I go into riff mode. Cinema. Cinema's announcement comes after Senate Republicans blocked a partisan bill to help secure the U.S.-Mexico border and deliver military aid to Ukraine and Israel, a deal that Sinema spent months negotiating. She had hoped it would be a signature achievement addressing one of Washington's most intractable challenges, as well as a powerful endorsement for her increasingly lonely view that cross-party deal making remains possible. And I think this article goes a little bit of a ways to kind of gloss her up, really make her seem like, yeah, no, she really was trying to reach across the aisle. No, I will give her that she girl boss maxed her way through this entire fucking career that she's had in the Senate. Um, she came from saying, hey, I'm going to be like a Green Party, I'm a rogue, kind of progressive-ish, person. But then when you sit down and you listen to her talk when she's now in a state of power, she's like, oh, I aspire to be like a John McCain, but for Democrats. And I wanted to vomit when I heard that. I was like, no one wanted this. No one asked for this. And essentially, it's like she just relished in being an obstacle to any play that was going from the Democrats. And it was just like her and Joe Manchin. You know what I mean? Like, just seeing these two people just literally just railroad so many fucking things, like namely the infrastructure bill. I remember just feeling so infuriated about that. And she just has the nerve to like curtsy and like be like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna wear my fuck off like rings because I'm cool. Like what are you doing, dude? Like, ugh, like I'm sorry, like I don't care. Like, oh, well, you're non-binary, that's very cool, but like these are just things she uses branding, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most. You know what I mean? That's the thing that makes me so mad that these people are really the future in the dime a dozen. I think, you know what I mean? Like, because John Fetterman, same kind of motherfucking guy, where it's like, yeah, man, I'm in cargo shorts, I'm a cool dude, you can vote for me, and then he gets in and he's just like, I'm actually a Zionist, I actually am just against anything progressive, actually shut the fuck up. Like, just a waste of space. And it's very frustrating to try to back these people and then watch these people literally stab you in the back. And yeah, so that's why it leads me to say I don't think she expected a real run when she said, "Hey, I'm going independent." I think she really did that so that people would get off of her ass because people were protesting in droves. Like reading this, I didn't know that was it Jesse Jackson got arrested for doing some protest, there. I mean, and I do remember some people like they mentioned like people going to the bathroom saying like, "Yo, you need to answer these questions, Miss Sinema. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm glad that people held her to the fire for this shit the whole way because that's what you deserve. And especially in this day and age, like people can do their research. They can see where you started and where you are now. And they're going to say, what are you doing? What the fuck is up? So yeah, I'm sure she's gonna fade off and to do some other fucking job. Maybe be a lobbyist. Who fucking knows? But I'm sure she's gonna get her bread. She got to, get wined and dined and all that shit. So I mean, good for her. Good fucking run, I guess, and good fucking riddance. So yeah, I mean, you hope that there's gonna be a better person to fill the space, fill the vacuum. Who knows? The Senate elections and shit's gonna be crazy. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me go ahead and wrap it. That feels good. I'm gonna call it there. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. You become a newsly today. I shout you out at the top of the month, plug a project if you'd like, and then free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on the socials, Facebook. Do that there. Yeah, there you go. It's an option. Let's see here. Also, the YouTube. That's good. I saw we got a couple more subscribers. So, yay. Love to see that. 58. Hopefully get to 60. That'd be nice sometime. Maybe. Let me see here. Also hit that like button. Also leave a cool comment. And, sharing is caring. And, listening and just making it this far is really dope. I love that. That's really cool of you. And yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.